In an era where it feels like there are not that many 3D platformers to boot, one must look to the past in order to find any diamonds in the rough. One of the finest games in the PlayStation library includes Ape Escape. Ape Escape was overall met with near universal acclaim in its initial release. Does it still hold up to today? So to begin this review, I thought maybe I'd go over the presentation. Overall, Ape Escape manages to feel tight in its execution, and the entire experience feels as if it comes together in a nice package. Surprisingly, the story manages to be one of the more defining aspects of Ape Escape. In short, two boys named Spike and Jake are sent back in time by apes, brainwashed by the Peak Point helmet by Spectre, who wants to rewrite history in his own image. Spike needs to recollect all the apes and defeat Spectre before he could change any more of history. Spike is the determined protagonist of the game. No matter what gets in his way, he is always determined to stop Spectre. It really gives the player the motivation to keep playing, even when they feel like giving up on a really shitty section. Spectre, on the other hand, poses as a foil to Spike. Being the villain of the game, you really get the threat he poses as he tries to rewrite history, and just to listen to his voice.
Stop this crazy plan already!
Why don't you stop fighting me and join me instead? You know, like your friend did.
No way!
Usually the voice acting in Ape Escape isn't that good, but Spectre really shines relatively well. The other characters don't really have much of a personality. Natalie is kind of a stereotypical woman in a lot of ways. The professor is like the person that serves as the tutorial. Carrie, as he fills in this role for the professor, don't really develop much. I guess Jake becomes a secondary antagonist, and there's a rivalry between Spike. That kind of reminds me of Sora and Riku in Kingdom Hearts. But other than that, it doesn't get much development either. Voice acting for each of these characters isn't good, like I said before. Not really sure what else needs to be said. I will say it is serviceable, to say the least. Maybe better than The Legend of Dragoon's voice acting, but it really isn't all that great. The presentation for Ape Escape is mostly good, but the real meat of the game comes from the gameplay. Ape Escape has the player collecting monkeys. The catch is that the player must use the different gadgets at their disposal in order to capture them. Each of these gadgets have a different function. For instance, Skyflyer allows Spike to travel to higher heights. Super Hoop allows Spike to travel at a faster speed. All these gadgets must be used to reach apes that are otherwise in hard-to-reach areas. One of the most innovative features that the game offers is that it makes use of both analog sticks while playing through the game. The right analog controls the gadgets, while the left is for movement. You can even assign the face buttons to the different gadgets. The problem with this is that since you'll be running into so many different situations, you'll constantly need to pause the game to switch. The camera also tends to get unwieldy as well, since the best you can do is center the camera around you instead of move it freely. This sometimes causes the camera to get stuck behind objects. The next problem is a relatively minor one. Sometimes the collision detection is so strong that Spike will get stuck behind objects easily, and sometimes this hinders movement. The other feature Ape Escape offers are the Spectre coins. These collectibles are used to unlock different minigames. The minigames are generally fun, but I wish there was a reward behind them. The graphics of the game are very beautiful. It looks very standard for a PS1 game. However, there are times where the game manages to give a bit of atmosphere. For instance, when you were traveling through Spectre's spaceship, you can literally see a view of the Earth from where you were walking. However, The graphics of the game, while relatively standard, is nothing compared to how good the music is. How does Ape Escape still hold up? Yes, it does. And it is kind of sad that it does not receive the recognition that it deserves today. Think about it. With Crash and Spyro getting the remasters and other PlayStation classics like Medieval also getting their remasters, how come Ape Escape doesn't get the same treatment? In that sense, I think Ape Escape is one of the more perhaps underappreciated games for the 5th generation, and hopefully someday it is able to climb up and get back into limelight in the modern world. So I don't know how to end this video, so